Okay, so can everybody see my screen in the class?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Nice, nice. So this is the Kaggle competition that was started, I think, 3-4 days back. And I thought, this is like, real life data, and 3 days ago it started. And I found that the data set that they have shared is reasonably large enough. And then I didn't realize that it is almost 5 GB. I think one of you actually pointed it out to me that it's almost 5 GB data set. So do we need to download the 5 GB data set? So what do you think, guys? What should we download the 5 GB data set?
Sir, it's 782 MB, sir, not 5 GB. Zip
782.
file. Yes, sir. MB.
Okay, then it's not bad actually. The total is 782, you are saying?
So it's a zip file, 72. From the download link only, if you download, it will be downloaded 72 MB zip file.
Fine, but after you open?
Then it's 5 point something GB, sir. 5.41 GB or something.
Correct. So that means your main data set is 5 GB, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now we agree on that. So, okay, when you are downloading, since it's a zip file, it's only 780 MB. So it's downloading that much file is not much of a big deal. But the problem is when we are unzipping it, that time it's because in order to do analysis, you have to unzip. When you unzip that time, it is turning out to be really big data, 5 GB. So first you tell me what problem you will face, not if all of you, some of you will face and with 5 GB data set. Any idea?
In R, loading the data itself would be difficult, right? Like it has to load in RAM.
Correct.
And
Why it faced the problem?
in-memory operations, right? Like RDOS operations.
Right.
The system issue.
Like in-memory operations are slower than
Right.
loading it from hard disk.
Now, why in-memory operations are slower?
The RAM constraint.
RAM constraint, correct. You are on the right track. What kind of RAM? How this RAM constraint affect your ability to analyze the data? And
So because when we work on the data, it will temporarily store in the RAM only.
correct.
So,
and what is the size of your RAM?
so for me, it's 8 GB.
For you, it is 8 GB. So you will probably okay. But there are people in the class maybe whose laptop is maybe 2-3 years old, and they have a 4 GB RAM, right?
Yes,
so if the RAM size of your system is 4 GB, which is like typically 2-3 years old systems nowadays, still have some system which has 4 GB RAM, then what is happening? Your data size is bigger than your RAM size. So you will not be able to run this kind of data. So that is one of the problem with in-memory operations. And how you solve these problems, that is a very important issue which we will discuss. In your programming, in your big data class, all these things you will eventually discuss, but you must be aware of this problem. So this, if you're reasonably new system, typically nowadays, most of the new systems comes with 8 GB RAM. So we will not face this problem. But if you have a system with 4 GB RAM, even this is a new laptop that I'm using, which I bought only 6 months back. Before that, the laptop I was using only had a 4 GB RAM. So that laptop would not have handled this kind of data. So this is one issue that you have to be careful about. Achha. So in this case, two resource you can use. One is if you go to code and you open notebook. So R gives, Kaggle gives you some R notebook. You can also use Python notebook, but in this class, we will just focus on R notebook, okay? Because one reason I'm much more comfortable with R. So the advantage of this is Kaggle gives you enough RAM to handle the data. So that's one of the reason we are going to use R notebook here. Actually, I think I have opened one. Yeah. So do you wait a minute, where am I? Yeah. So can you open all these things? Are you guys with me? Can you open the R environment? Hello.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
Anybody has any trouble opening it?
Sir, can you please repeat just
Yeah.
a little bit?
So let me just go back. So I think this is the new book. Okay. You go to the code. So here you can see the code, right?
Yes, sir.
If you click here, then it will take you to a place where you have, maybe all the works and all these things, this kind of things you will see. And here you see the new notebook. Okay, click on there. Okay. And that will open a notebook like this.
Sir, I got the Python one, how to convert it to R.
Your case, it is Python?
Yes, sir, it has open Python for me as well.
Okay, I think
yes, sir, it is Python for me too.
Okay, I am pretty sure you can change it to R. I don't know why.
Sir, we have to sign in first. We have to sign in first, or the new notebook just open.
Just a minute.
You need to sign in and accept the rules.
So when you click on file, there's an option for language.
Acha. When you are signing in, there will be an option for language.
No, sir. When you open the notebook and you click on file, there's an option for Python
File
and
option above the notebook.
Okay.
New notebook, sir. Not this one. Yeah.
Okay. This is my new notebook,
yeah.
And then in the new notebook and
language.
Yeah, language. And there you can choose Python or R. In my case, it's R already chosen. Are you guys okay now? All of you are with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's fine now.
It's fine now? Okay, good. Thanks. That was a good help. All right. So now if you run this code, here if you run this code, basically it will run the tidyverse package. It has bunch of package inbuilt, and it will run this folder and the files that are there in this folder, basically. So this is the file that there. Let me just put it in the chat box. And so I think in default, it is just input. And after that, you have to write this You have to write this NFL-big-data bold-2022 that you have to run. If you run this, then you can see that there are a bunch of CSV files being printed. Game.csv, PFF, scouting data.csv, players.csv, plays.csv. And then tracking 18, 19, and 2020.csv is given.
Sir,
yeah.
I'm not getting the code.
You are not getting the code. Okay, let me, who is it?
Ujjwal Saxena.
Ujjwal Saxena. Let me make you a co-host. Can you share your desktop now? You go, you will see, you should be able to say, yeah. All right. So, okay, now you run the, click on that left diamond there. Yeah, click on the, no. This left diamond, the diamond or the right arrow, whatever you call it. This left diamond, this, okay, let me hold on. No. Yeah, run that. Yeah. So now you can see that this NFL-big data-bold 22 is written there in the down, right before the code. Yeah, copy that. Yeah. Copy that guy. Yeah. Now, did you copy? Hello. Did you copy? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you go to the input, that list.files path equal to quote unquote dot input dash. No. List.files. Can you see that list.files? So let me show you my desktop.
Yes, sir.
Can you see my desktop?
Yes, sir.
List.files, after input, you paste this here.
Oh.
Now you run it again. Okay. And you should be able to see all these files. RG, I'm also not getting the file list. Okay. So wait a minute. Ujjwal, did you get it? Hello.
Copy, but
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay. Anybody else need any help?
Sir,
Yes,
I
yes,
didn't get it
for me,
actually.
it's also not happening.
It's not happening, sir. And for me, there was nothing written like NFL Big Data Ball 22. I had to type it. So
Okay,
I typed it, I'm running it, but
let me make you co-host. Let me see your desktop. Let me make you
sir, actually, I'm logging through my phone and I'm working in laptop. So
this is who?
Sir, Reva.
Okay, where that's okay. You log in through your laptop. That's good thing. But I'm just thinking, who are you, so that I can, if I can make you co-host, then I will be able to.
Sir, I'll log in through my laptop. So you can continue. I'll try to do it. In case I don't, I'll let you know, sir.
Okay. Anybody else need any help?
Yes, sir. For me, it's also not.
Huh?
For me, not happening, sir. Aman Kumar.
Aman Kumar. Okay. Let me make you co-host. Share your desktop.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I want to ask, do I need to register first?
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, if you register for the for that will basically Yeah, you are fine. All this game.csv, pff, everything is there.
Sir, but this file is not coming.
Which file?
So there was some command like which was
that मैं बताऊंगा. If you need to, I'll tell you what to do. Yeah, you are good. You are in good shape. Don't worry. Okay. Who else is there? Is there anybody else? Okay.
So now I can share my screen if you allow me to.
Okay. Who is it?
Sir, Riva Malik.
Riva Malik. Okay, Riva. Just a minute. Let me make you co-host. Yeah. I think you are now co-host. You can share your.
Okay. Sir, actually, I have logged in, through 2 accounts. So I think you have allowed to me, but not to the other one.
It should not be. You can. I think it should not be any problem.
I'm not able to, sir. Actually, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Host. Okay, just a minute. Let me.
Yeah, sir. Now it's done.
You're good now?
No, sir. Still not able to.
No. Okay.
Sir, I'll raise my hand. Actually, that's what I can do, or I'll change my name.
No. It should not. Okay, you can try that.
Sir, there must be someone with name RM, capital RM.
Capital R?
And M.
And M. Okay, let me see who is there. Just a minute. Capital RM, yeah. Is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I make you co-host now, RM. Yeah. Now you should be able to share your desktop.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So here it is.
Yeah, now you run it. It should be fine. You should, run this.
It's not able to, sir. Nothing is happening.
Did you register?
You
have to probably register for the
okay, sir.
For the competition. And
okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Then it will allow you to link your basically account to the competition so that you will get the access to their data folder. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank
you. When I created the notebook itself, it asked me, like it did not allow me to create a notebook without accepting the.
That generally happens some reason.
So I think she has registered because on the icon it shows R on the top right corner. So she must have.
That is Gmail account. No?
That is Gmail account. Yeah, I think what you need to do, you go to that folder. Now go to the competition file.
Okay, sir.
You go to the in this maybe there. No. Okay, go to the back. Yeah.
This is it.
Right. So did you join the competition?
No, sir, I didn't. I'll do that, sir.
So
okay, sir. I got the problem.
On the notebook, new notebook, I think it will ask for to join the competition. Yeah, it probably will ask for join the competition. No,
it's not asking me, sir. It opens this page for me directly.
Sir, I've joined the competition and it's showing the same for me too.
Okay, now you run the thing once more. Just click and run this thing.
Done, sir.
It's running. Let me see. Yeah, now I think you're good.
No, sir, this happened before also actually.
Okay.
No, but this is new.
Okay. Yeah,
I think.
Now you copy that and paste that after input, correct? Correct. Just quote unquote, you need to, No. Hold before NFL, yeah.
Okay, I have to put that one.
No, you don't have to delete that quote unquote. Otherwise, it will give you a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, before the NFL also. Before the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you run it. Yeah. Now you see all the.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now you're good. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else need any help? Fine, guys.
Sir, my program is running, but I didn't get that link.
Okay. Let me see where. Who is it?
Sir Dipti.
Okay. Let me make you co-host so that you can share your desktop. I made you co-host. Okay. So, maybe you open another, you just close this notebook. Maybe you just close this notebook. And no, don't open another. Go to their, go to that competition web page. Yeah, go to the competition web page. Yeah, scroll down, go to that particular competition. Yeah, I think this is the third one. Yeah, you open that. Here, go to code. And now you open a new notebook. Yeah, new notebook on the right. Yeah, from there. Yeah, you have to accept the terms and conditions. Wait a minute, it's opening. Wait a minute. Yeah, now you run it. Okay, scroll down, see, is there. Now you copy that folder. Correct. Copy that and paste it in after input. Run this. Now you see all the folder, all the CSV files that are there in the folder. You can see it. You don't need to download. Okay, you're good now.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right, all of you are all set now?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Now, okay. Let us just have a look into this first thing, games.csv. And so what I did, I just said that read.csv files equal to, now this file path name, and then after that games.csv and header equal to true. And then I said that this first line will basically read the CSV file in the environment games. And then I'm saying that you just print the first few lines of the CSV file. Okay. So if you now run this, so it will just print the, so I run, let me just give it to you through the chat box. Everybody, okay. So I put the code in those 2 lines of code in the chat box. You can copy and paste it. Okay. Now,
Sir, can you please resend it once?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
So where we have to paste it?
Huh? Hey, I mean,
where
you create another code like here. If you click on code, it will give you another box. In that box, you have to paste it. Okay.
Sir.
Are you guys with me? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now what we are going to do, just a minute. Candle.com. Where is that competition? Now, if you go to the data, now we have to be a bit carefully understood what each data means and what is it actually talking about. So the first we have studied the game data. Okay. So let me just take the notebook next to it. So the first column is game ID, season, week, game data, game time Eastern, home team. This is, I think, ABBI stands for abbreviation, and visitor team abbreviation. So game ID is game identifier. It will be a unique ID to identify the particular game. Season of the game, week of the game, game date, game time in Eastern, it will be Eastern Standard Time. In Eastern Standard Time will be basically New York time. Okay, New York City time. Home team abbreviation is home team 3-letter code. It will be like Houston. I think HOU probably stand for Houston. PIT stands for probably Pittsburgh, or PHI stands for Philadelphia, something like that. And visitor team abbreviation. So this is more or less the basic about this game.csv is talking about which team plays against whom on which day, and for each game there is a unique ID to identify the game data. Okay, so first of all, what we will do, we will quickly do some basic analysis, like basic things, basic summary we would like to see. So now you can see here is a code and here is something called markdown. In the markdown, we will write few things, find some notes or something like that. So if we click on markdown, then you can write, say, you can write anything you want in game.csv file. We have game related information. Okay. First of all, this is our first point. And then second point is, so suppose you want to write some equation or something, you can write it in markdown. So suppose you want to write that y equal to, say, alpha plus beta times x. Just writing, nothing. You can see y equal to alpha plus beta x. So equation can be written very easily within $, and within the $2. It is called, typically called LaTeX equation. LaTeX, LaTeX. It's a editor in itself. If you know, fine. If you don't know, don't worry. You will learn it on your way. Okay. It's very easy to basically write equations in LaTeX. Now what I will do, I will click on these code and I'll write, say, game dollar home team abbreviation. I'll copy that and then I'll put it in unique. I have games. Okay, I have used not game, rather games. So these are the unique values that you have in your home team abbreviation. Okay, so you can say these are these many. I can just put these are the unique team that are there, and if I just write say length, so I can what I can do, I can just say in abbreviation, or I can just say home team abbreviation. And what I can do, I can just write length, L-E-N-G-T-H, length, run. So there are 33 unique team that we are seeing in the home team abbreviation. Now, I am guessing that in the visitor team abbreviation also, there will be some 33 unique teams will be there. Okay, you guys can check if there are 33 unique abbreviations are indeed there or not. Okay. Second thing we can quickly check is dimension of the dataset games. Okay. There are 764 rows are there and 7 columns. So we can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 columns are there and 764 rows are there. So that means there are information about 764 games. So we can write it down here. In games.csv, there are 764 rows. It means that there are 764. There are information about 764 games. Okay. Now, what else we have in this data set? We have season. So we will check how many seasons are there. Okay. So we will check how many seasons are there. So games, roller. Yeah.
Why 764.7 for dimension?
Your voice is not very clear. Can you repeat, or can you repeat your question? Write your question in the chat box.
Is it clear now, or should I write it?
Yeah, it is better now.
Okay. So, why the value of dimension games is 764.7 when we are saying that
so 7, it is not 0.7. It is just I think the printing is somewhat weird. It must be some comma, but some reason the printing is very weird and looks like 764.7, but actually it should be 767. You can actually write now n rows instead of dimension. You can write n row, and you can see 764 and n call, which will give you the, okay, and then you can put a C You can combine them as a vector. So I think that is what is saying. It's basically
it's 764 into 7.
7 is the problem.
Huh?
764 into 7, sir. Like in a matrix.
Like matrix form, like into
764 cross 7.
Cross 7 in that sense. But there are 764 rows are there. That is what it is. Okay. All right. Next, we would like to see how many seasons are there. So first, what we will do, say season and then unique. How many unique seasons are there? We will check. There are 3 unique seasons, 2018, 19, and 20. So we have 764, 764 matches or games were there. So 764 divided by 3. So we can expect about 254, about 250 match per season are available. That's an interesting thing. So that we are not getting an integer number, but we'll see. So we may have to little bit study how the things are there anyway. And then week of the game, which week and how many weeks and equivalent things are there. So games, let me just paste it here. And then actually what I want is week. Not all week actually the games take place. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there is 17 weeks. So that means each season takes place over 17 weeks. Okay. So I think they start and around September, October, probably, I don't know when actually they starts. And then whenever they start from there is about 4 months of play goes. So there are total 17 weeks are there. So this is all about the games.csv. Now we have to look for the other data set. So here we are talking about the game data, game.csv, then play data, play.csv file contains the play level information, each game and ID. And in the play data, we have a lot of informations. You can see game ID, play ID, then play description, and it is text. Then quarter, game quarter, how many quarters are there, down, years to go. So some of the informations or the variables I even don't know, and we have to probably learn on the way. I mean, I also don't know much about the American football, but we have to go along the way. The first, now why I choose these data set, I want to tell you, most of the time, I have seen that when you will be given a data will be so huge, sometimes it is very intimidating. So you have to first put a lot of your time understanding the data structure and how each of the variables are behaving. I mean, meaning, what are the meaning of each of the variables. So one of the homework is going to be for this week is read through this database. All of your work is understand this database. Now before and then next week, we will be able to do more fruitful work, but we will continue on this work on this. We will continue whatever we will do. We will use this because this is a database which will have almost all kind of data that we are going to face. So one of your assignment for this week is to sit down and go through each of the variables of the database that you have. Now, can you tell me how many data sets that you have, how many CSV files you have? So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 data sets that is there in this. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 data sets that they have in this folder. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Can anybody tell me why they have organized this database in this broken format? Most of the data set, if you're from a stat, a computer science background, you will see that, professors always give you a one data set to work with all the variables are there in a nice matrix format, right? And you guys do some little analysis on that. But in real life, you rarely see a database which is nice matrix format. In real life, you will always see data sets which are like, broken into 3 pieces, 4 pieces, in this case, 7 pieces. Now the question is, my first question, why they have organized this database into 7 pieces? Why not a single database, single nice looking Excel file? That is my first question. And second question, how can we use these 7 pieces of data sets in a more coherent manner? Okay, first let us try to understand. Forget about the second question. First, try to understand that why these database is being organized with 7 pieces of data sets and not one coherent Excel file kind of thing or CSV file kind of thing. Can anybody tell me this?
The collection of data might be easy in that case.
Say it again.
Collection of data might be easy in that case.
Sorry, wait, can't follow you. Can you just...
Collection of data might be easy in that case, like in broken code.
Not sure what you are saying. Can you write it down in your chat, in the chat box, so that we all can see? For some reason you are not, we can't hear you properly.
The data is used to be accommodated in just one file or just one row of row and column table.
Correct. Rohan, you are right. So and why it will be too huge? What will happen if it will too huge? It will be basically the size will go up, right? Why it will go up?
Sir, because if we try to get all the data in one file, we will have multiple entries for every single variable we have or attribute we have. So it will be very redundant. So that's why we make multiple files so that they are relational.
Very good.
One file is related to one aspect of the data.
Very good. Okay. All of you got this point? Or should I repeat? Should I explain it? Do you want me to explain this?
Yes, sir. Please explain.
Okay. All right. Let me. Okay. Let me open a Excel file here. Let me open a publish. Can all of you see my desktop?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So let me create a small data set, say using this one, say game ID. And say team ID. So maybe home team ID, visitor team ID, or instead of game ID, so just say home team and visitor team, say goal and home team, or goal visitor goal. Okay, now suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now home team is suppose maybe KKR, Delhi, CSK, CSK, and then first one probably CSK. Then this is Delhi. Then this is CSK. Then maybe and then suppose some numbers. Okay. Okay, just number. Okay, so suppose this is my data set. Now what is happening? You can see here KKR repeated 2 times, CSK repeated 2 times. Okay. Similarly, here CSK repeated 2 times, Delhi repeated 2 times, KKR is coming here. Now, what happens is these are string, right? So these are string. KKR is a string, and how many character it is representing? 3 character, right?
Yes, sir.
Now what I can do, I can create another small database with say team ID, and I can just say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then actual team name. So KKR, Delhi, something like that. And now wherever it is KKR, I replace this KKR with 1. Wherever there is a Delhi is 2, so I will replace it by 2. Wherever CSK is 3, so I will replace it by 3. So I'm just replacing it, then it is not home team, it is the ID of the home team, whatever the ID of that home team. So CSK is 3, Hyderabad is 4, KKR is, Delhi is 2, KKR is 1. Now what is happening here, these 2, basically KKR was repeating 2 times. KKR itself is taking 3 character. Now I am replacing those 3 characters with 1 numeric variable, numeric value. So I'm saving space. Okay. So that is why and I am just saying that, okay, I will maintain a small data set about the team information. With each team will have their own ID. When I will do the analysis, what I will do, I can always look into the team ID and this database in sheet 2 and said, okay, 1 means KKR or 2 means Delhi. So immediately I will know which team it is. And if you go back now, this is exactly what they have done. So game ID is in the game related data, and in the play related data, you still have the game ID. So these two ID are common to this data sets. These are unique data sets. You know, player ID data also, there is a game ID and play ID. Now play ID is here in the play data set. Okay. So these tracking IDs, tracking data also has the game ID, play ID is there. So you can merge these data sets when you are doing analysis. If you want, you can merge these data sets by the ID and you can do the analysis and you can throw it away, but you don't have to save, you don't have to really, maintain all the entire data set in this way. So you can, so that you can save the data. That is one of the reason you will see many data sets which are basically cut into separate small pieces and maintained in a way so that more information, more space can be saved. So after doing this optimal way, still the size is 5 GB. Now I can bet if you merge all these data by their game ID and play ID and come up with a really big Excel file, one Excel file or CSV file, and try to save that, it will very easily, it can go up to 8 GB, 9 GB or 10 GB. It can easily go up to it will increase the size of the entire data sets, which is unnecessary perhaps. So that is the one of the main reason the data that you will see oftentimes are preserved in a very, real life data are, preserved in a pieces, small pieces, and they are, whenever you need to analyze them, you have to merge them with the ID variables. All of you are with me? Anybody have any question?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So I think this is the first part of today's discussion. I want to introduce you to first what we have done. We have get ourselves introduced to Kaggle notebook. Second is we are all now, we are just getting familiar ourselves with this particular data set, NFL data set, and one of your reading assignment is to go through this overview page and data page and understand each file description, variable description, what does it mean. This will be your this week task. Understand this data set. That will be your first task. And we discussed that why these big data set are cut into pieces so that you can save spaces. Okay? And that is one of the very popular way to handle the big data. So this is not even big data. This is I would say moderate size data. Big data is really big when you faces terabytes of data. I'm just gently introducing to some sort of big data just to get a feel. Some people say if your data size is bigger than your RAM size, you are in big data horizon. So you are almost in the horizon of big data. If you have a older laptop or older system, then definitely you need a big data, because 5 GB data, you cannot hold it into your RAM, local machine. Also, even if you have 8 GB data, if you merge them blindly, these, all these data by game ID and play ID and create a big, nice looking matrix kind of, you think of creating that kind of data, there is a high chance that your entire array size will increase more than 8 GB. At that time, even your new laptop will not be able to handle this data. Okay, so you will need some kind of cloud computing. So at least in the Kaggle is providing some free cloud computing resources which you can use. If you want, you can use these resources. That is one of the available resource, freely available resource that we will use in this in our learning process. Okay, next is
Sir, I had a question.
Yeah.
Sir, if I wanted to access the data offline, how do I import the data into this Kaggle notebook?
You want to access data offline?
Suppose I have downloaded the data and now I want to access
in the local, right?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Then it's okay. Then it's, suppose you go to you open your RStudio. Okay. So the first thing you can do is you can create a R project. Okay. So let me show you this. So you can click. Can you see it? See this small
yes, sir.
You can click on that. Let me just say don't save. So I'm just getting out of the current thing. And you can choose a directory. Say I will create a teaching. Where is my teaching? Here is my teaching. Here is my visualization. I will create a, say I will give a name, say NFL project. NFL project. I will name it as. You can give any name, that doesn't matter. I'm just giving it an NFL project. So it is create a new folder in my visualization folder, NFL project. And now I will create open and I'll say create project. So it will create a nice project. Now what you will, if you go back in my folder system, document, teaching, visualization. If you go to the NFL project, you will see in that NFL project, you have this project file is ready, nfl.project.r project. Now what I will do, I will go there in my data set. So let me download one of the data. I don't know whether it will download the entire data or some data. So I don't want to download this entire 5 GB data. Can I download only one data file?
Yes, sir. Then on the graph side, on the name games.csv, there's a download option.
Yeah, here is a download. So I just download this. Just these database data set. I'll sort of download games.csv. So this is game.csv. Okay. Now, if you go to the project, now you can see in your project, you can see this games.csv. Okay. And now if you create R script, in the R script, you can say games equal to games equal to v.csv file equal to games. So one of the advantage of working with project, because if you write in your console, if you write get working directory, by default you are in that you are in that folder. So you don't have to provide the entire path to extract that folder. So now you just say games.csv and header equal to true. Now you can see in your environment, the data is there. You open it, you can see the data. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good. Anything else? All right. If not, then I want to discuss few more things, and so that one thing I want to discuss about you guys with you guys, that in there are different kind of variables. Before we jump into data analysis, there are different kind of variables are there, and these variables are the definition of these variables are slightly different with respect to computer science programming perspective and statistics perspective. Okay, so in statistics, and in say particularly from programming perspective, so the first thing you will see that there are in statistics, what are the different types of variable that you know when you are thinking from a statistics class point of view. So there are typically they will be called numeric variable. There will be within numeric, there will be two kinds. One is continuous, another is count variable, and then there will be categorical variable, and within categorical there will be some ordinal variable and nominal variable. Actually, there is third category in the numeric also. There is something called binary variable. Right? Are you guys with me? Typically, this is how a world of statistics will look like. Let me put a color here. This is how the world of statistics will look like. Now, if you look into the comp science or programming point of view, how many variables you guys know?
Float, integer, boolean.
Correct. Integer, then float.
Yeah, boolean.
Boolean. What else?
Logical.
Huh?
Logical.
Logic. So logical will not be a variable. It will be like logic is, conditions. So logical I will not consider as a variable.
An array like or list.
Characters, the strings.
Yeah, strings. Text.
String is definitely one. String. Array I will not. Array I will say more like a okay, array. Maybe array is more like a vector matrices kind of concepts. They're not like really variable. It's like handling bunch of variables. How you do that? You do it in maths, you do it in a vector and matrices, and that concept is there in array, kind of 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension array. The more or less these 4 variables you will see. Can you map these 4 variables to these 4, essentially these 4 comp science or programming perspective variables to these statistics variables? Let me put some other color. So continuous will go with map with whom?
So float.
Float. Count will map with whom?
Integer.
Integer. Binary.
Boolean.
Boolean, very good. What about ordinal categorical? Categorical ordinal?
So it can also go to Boolean.
It can go to Boolean or string also.
Because integers are ordered. It can also go to integers since integers are ordered.
Yeah, okay. So this is a little bit of confusion then.
But in the case of ordinal, sometimes we have shared ranks as well. So
Achha,
that will...
okay, wait a minute. Give me an example of ordinal variable. You go to restaurant and at the end of the your cuisine, the waiter gives you a survey questionnaire and asks you to rate the service. Poor service, average service, good service, or something like that, right? Or very good service, or wonderful service, something like that. So you cannot, you can put poor as 1 and really good as 5, or you can define it as a reverse way also. So you don't know where to end and where to start, but there is a sense of order in there, correct? Those categorical variables are typically called ordinal variable. So typically you can define them through some kind of Boolean mapping. So you have to have a data dictionary. In that data dictionary, you have to code poor service means 1. You can define poor service equal to 5 also, doesn't matter. Means best service as 1 and 5. Lower you go, it's a worse service. So you can do it in that way also. But you have to have maintain a dictionary or a proper definition that poor service means 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever that number. But you can effectively put it into some sort of Boolean kind of logic. What about nominal? Can you give me an example of nominal?
Gender.
Gender is a nominal. Any other?
Blood group. Blood group.
Blood group could be nominal, yes. Color of the car, right? Or color of the dress, anything. So these can be nominal. Example of nominal categorical variable. So generally categorical, but can you map nominal variable to any of this variable?
Maybe string. String, maybe.
String, maybe, yeah. Maybe string. There is a way to...
There is factor, right, in R?
Say it again?
Factor. I'm not remembering correctly. Like I remember.
Okay. So factor is a class which typically defined in R, but not in Python. So factor, I will not, it's a more like a statistical concept, but more like a, I think, yeah, I would not really not use factor to be in this class of these variables. These are like these four class of variables are well defined in all the programming languages. Factor is more specific to R and not other languages, because its statisticians do use this concept called factor, which is actually to handle categorical variable. Okay, so they do use this factor, but one trick that both statistician and computer scientists use. In computer science, they call it one-hot encoding. Okay. And in statistics, it's called dummy variable. Anybody know about this thing? Anybody heard about it?
Yes, sir. For any categorical data, whatever the number of categories we have, we can have them as binary. So if we have 3 categories, we can store them as a vector as 0, 0, 1. If it is the third category, or if it is the first category, then we can have 1, 0, 0. So whichever the category it is, we can have 1, and which is it not, we can have zeros.
Very good. So yeah, so basically both dummy variable or one-hot encoding, both are the exact same thing. What it's Ashutosh, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So what Ashutosh said. So basically, what it is I'll tell you. So suppose, let me use this. So suppose this is color of a car. Okay. So color of a car. So suppose it's red, blue, silver, something like that. So now that's this. Generally, if you have a red, blue, silver, it's very difficult to do matrix operation on, string variable. But we want to create something which is on which we can do, going forward, we can do some kind of matrix operation. So what we can do, we can instead just call it red. We can create red, blue, and silver. We can create 3 columns, and wherever we see red, we'll say that 1, 1, but this is blue, so we'll call it 0. Silver, so it is 0, it is 0. And now in blue, it is red, so but in the blue, it will be like 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. And in silver, we will have 0, 0, 0. But this is, here it is silver. So this is 1, 1. So I can effectively, a particular case, particular car, which is a red color car, I am now converting into, I'm putting that particular point into a 3-dimension. I'm representing with a 3-dimension as 1, 0, 0. And a blue color, I'm representing it with 0, 1, 0. And a silver color, I'm representing it with 0, 0, 1. So this is something called one-hot encoding and or dummy, creating a dummy variable in your data model. And it helps handling the analysis, but it creates a problem. Can anybody see the problem?
Yes, sir. If there are too many categories, then it gets too big.
If it is too many categories, then what happens? The dimension of the problem increases. There will be too many dimensions. So basically, I'm representing 1-dimension issue with a 3-dimension vector, right? A 1-dimension point, which is a red, I'm representing with a 3-dimension vector. Correct? Size, yeah. So basically when I'm doing it, that means my data size is expanding. My dimension is not only my dimension increasing, the size of the data will expanding. So that is one of the huge problems. So today, now it is 11:55. So let's stop here today. Anybody have any question? So we'll continue to eventually,
How will be the evaluation done?
Don't worry about evaluation. Yeah. I'll get back to you on the same.
Okay.
I have not thought about it because it's the first time we are teaching and it's very difficult to evaluate the visualization. But I'll get back to you. I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments, any suggestions other than evaluation? All right.
Sir, could you just share that IPYNB file or that Kaggle notebook just for reference that you just edited in the class?
Which one?
The file that you were editing